and welcome to another episode of TechHour. I'm your host, Simone Smith Bean, and today is a special day, guys. I am so delighted to have join us today a founder, creator, and innovator, a Black man innovator. Chris Christmas is going to be on our show today. He is a special person, you guys. And so we're going to talk about Black innovation. We're going to talk about development of Black people in the innovation space. And we're going to talk about how we've contributed. And it's Black History Month. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. My back is strong enough to take the pain inflicted again and again. What do they call me? My name is on steroids. And welcome back to our show. I want to again introduce our guests. Today we have the founder of BlokTime Ltd, Chris Christmas. Welcome, Chris, to our show.
Howdy, how we say from Colorado. How you doing?
All right. So today our topic is Black innovation, and I first want to give you an opportunity to tell everybody who are listening to our show today. Tell us a little bit about your company and how you came up with the idea for BlokTime.
I was a designer in the industry. I've worked for Shaquille O'Neal for 7 years of my life. I worked currently in the NBA, have a license with the NBA. I've been a designer for many different products. And over the time, I always felt that intellectual property owners didn't control their path of what they create. So BlokTime was created based on really the ability for creators, brands to control their pre-sale to resale, where you're able to monetize basically the ideas that you create, whether it's a hardline product, a shoe, a sneaker, a car, whatever you innovate, you can control your own channel now of how that supply chain is authenticated. So we came up with an ability based on Web3 technology, where we have a pre-sale to resale model where we tokenize the supply chain, as well as we create a trackable method to authenticate when something is made and when something is transferred from one part of the process of manufacturing to the next. And then we also, when something goes into secondary resale markets, we help brands that created the original product get a royalty stream through our platform. And that's all integrated in the BlokTime IO platform. We have our own metaverse strategy where we take durable assets into digital assets, leveraging 3 technology where we can mirror the actual real product or real place, and then create an extension into the metaverse by mirroring that same environment, but giving more flexibility, functionality, ability to tap into the world, you might say. So that's what BlokTime is, and we're working with brands to create new revenue for them off this platform. And hopefully we're going to be one of the fastest growing software companies in the world. And it's about time we, as a community, own our own code. That's what I always tell people. What does that mean to own your own code? Well, it's really understanding how to sow the seeds to harvest and have the process of understanding what the ground does, what water does, what wind does, how to harvest the seed. That's what owning your code is. You have to truly understand technologically all parts. And without that, we're kind of disconnected from the future as a people because we don't have our own or our own ability to control it. I would use that metaphor from legal counsel to international protection across trade laws, compliance laws. And so I think we've come to the point where we have to be independent as a community, celebrating Black History Month and understanding that what is Marcus Garvey, who I followed as a child, read his books, Pan Africanism. He had 236 offices around the world. And what was the Black Star Ship Line's original purpose? It wasn't really just about going back to Africa. It was really about owning your own ships, owning your own sailboats, owning your own, buying tickets from us where we have an airline where you can buy tickets from us because we are accommodating and we don't have to feel racism at the airport if we own our own. But that's what BlokTime's about, owning your own for creators, for brands. So shout outs to the whole world and specifically Bermuda because that's where we've decided to rest our head as a brand. Um, we're really happy about their Web3 laws. They're very pro digital assets and help models like us develop unique global transactional platforms. So shout outs to David um, and the Prime Minister's um, coalition of Web3 activists that seem to be leading the way.
Yeah, you mentioned a few things there. I think that Black innovation does derive itself from the idea of, owning something that belongs to you,
Right,
and having that be able to create more tangible change for your community. And being a part of innovation is a very important thing when other Black people who are looking for examples need to find that example of someone who's already striving the way and creating the space for
right,
them to be able to innovate,
right.
and to be more creative. And Africa has been one of those locations where a lot of technology is coming out because of the know-how and brain power
Very
that sits on
talented,
the continent. Very talented
very
individuals,
talented.
and we're looking for the same support here, within the Caribbean. And so, choosing Bermuda, that was very unique with the legislation that they have, because Bermuda is so
Right.
keen on supporting technology and supporting the development of companies like yours. So, thank
Hmm.
you for choosing Bermuda as your
Yeah.
location and domicile for your company. I'm
Hmm.
sure that it's going to grow leaps and bounds. But
Hmm.
I want to talk more about the actual product and services that you will offer. Being able to have products or brands, giving them a new marketplace that they may not have had access to. Explain to the audience exactly how that connects, and the exponential growth that some of these products may see as a result of being in this new space. Because digital space is where it's at. Everybody's looking at the metaverse. Everybody's looking at virtual locations, and just this new wave of doing business.
Yeah. We developed a platform that specializes on unrealized gains. Unrealized gains. So many brands don't realize the gains that they can get from these extensions into the marketplace. Whether it's carbon credits, whether it's resale revenue, whether it's tracking your compliance for human rights or labor compliances. These things have special value that you need it in your business and you don't realize that you can capitalize on it. So when I use the word unrealized gains, 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 it allows brands to say, I wasn't really focusing there, but if you can help us do that, why not? And so what we built is a really simple, easy to use software that brands can onboard their digital assets, protect them, authenticate them, and we have a secret watermark that's encrypted with AI that allows that AI watermark to follow that product wherever it's at, whether it's in the metaverse, whether it's in a game engine, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's in TikTok, whether it's in an actual retail location. We go from digital to durable, and there's no difference to us. We teleport back and forth. And so that's really why we have built, I think, one of the most innovative, disruptive models for how and why Web3 was created in the first place. A different protocol, peer to peer, allows brands to control their customer, no third party browsers, no third party aggregates. We have a ticketing model that you can actually use ticketing, the Taylor Swift incident, where we have an app that really allows the actual IP holders to control venues, control who has access, and stop giving your sovereignty to others. And I think as Black people for Black History Month, if anything we can learn over these many 400 years of tyranny, financially, more importantly, is how we have been financially, tyrannically attacked. It's because we give up our sovereignty. We say our sovereignty doesn't have value as a collective. We individually like to be acknowledged, but collectively we don't. And so I think we want to change that. And we want to start a new way of teaching our communities to think alternative to the systems and start realizing what's going on in Nigeria with blockchain, what's going on in these countries where they do understand buying from Black is what they do every day. Like in Nigeria, it's not unusual to have Black banks, Black businesses, and all that. So they can adopt it easier because they don't have that neo-colonialism thing. There hasn't been a neo-colonial structure in Nigeria for many, many, many years. So they don't have that tyranny of neo-colonialism by the Europeans or Americans to establish a structure first, to be acknowledged first. They're just using blockchain technology. They're just
You
taking
know,
the technology advantage of it. 100,
100%.
period.
100%. And I think that
So,
what we're missing in the West is this
mm,
idea of doing for, my husband always says, doing for self. But when I say self, I mean collective self.
of
I
course.
think that we're yet to be able to come together as a community and really focus on supporting community. And so that, like, there's a lot of examples out in the media about how African Americans, Caribbean Americans, and have yet to be able to, they, everybody's taken this individual places in society,
Right,
but as a
right.
collective society, we do nothing to work in a cohesive manner. And so I do
Well,
see a
there's
lot.
this thing called Black Twitter. There's Black Twitter, and we accept the word. I mean, it's kind of like the most ignorant concept I've ever heard. We accept Black Twitter as if we own it, as if Black Twitter is owned by our community, and we brand that company as a collective for them. That means somehow Black Twitter is the word of us, not us creating Twitter's ourselves. So we're always complicit, so complicit in driving Mercedes Benz cars to the Grammys Awards and showing up on the red carpet. It's what we achieve. But when you say actually we're going to change the narrative on how banking works, on how we trade and sell, and how we
Yes,
build our stuff, then you have to prove yourself, right? You have to go up and beyond because the average Black, he's like, no, you're not Black Twitter. Why would I do Twitter? Why would I start my own Twitter? I got Black Twitter. That's why we're in slavery. And we'll stay in technologically slavery. And while there'll be billions of us that play ball and they got hundreds of millions of dollars, and Jay-Z's got opulent wealth, and Beyonce has opulent wealth, and Pharrell has opulent wealth, but the average Black person that lives the average Black life, that is educated, that has been thriving, feels disjointed.
certainly.
We will change that narrative. We will give them something tangibly to connect to that they feel like they're a part of. And it's not Black Twitter owned by Elon Musk that doesn't give a damn about our community, right? They just want to take our money and tell us you're just consumers. And you're actually not too intelligent consumers because you don't hold anyone accountable for when you give money to them. You just give your money up. And you're like, my dollar
Look
means
at,
nothing to me.
look at the example of Kanye West. Hadn't he learned his lesson at this point? Right?
Maybe.
You're hopefully that you we look, in order to be accepted amongst these
Yeah.
billion-dollar brands,
I
right?
we
we
totally
we
do.
give
We
our we give
totally
our
do.
creativity, we give our culture, I mean, your platform is going to be a place where persons can flourish and own their own IP, their own
Period.
IP. Period.
Period.
Nobody else
Period.
controls the intellectual
Period.
property is yours. You
You're
control how it's disseminated. You control how you sell. You control all of that, and then you have direct
correct.
access to the marketplace. But for
Correct.
somebody you want to go, everybody wants to work with these major brands. And when you say something that is not outside of of what they call politically correct, but might be
You're
something
you're
that is
done.
spiritually correct, it's a problem.
You're done.
And
You're done.
so this is why I always say, if you're not creating your own spaces for you to be able to really grow, then what are you doing? You're all you're doing is flourishing for someone else, for another community, other outside of yourself, other than your own. And there is no benefit in that on a collective
So,
basis.
and I just say the legacy of slavery had a genetical effect on the psyche of African Americans, of Caribbeans, of the neo-colonials, because it embellished in our back of our brain subconsciously we're never worthy of what is ours. We always have to prove our worth, and we have to show it, right? So once we achieve something, it's all about being flashy and showing it, because inside the back of our head we're always thinking we have to show our worth. In Africa, you don't have that issue, right?
No
It's black
shit.
is black. There's no
Blacks.
difference. There's no difference. And so we on the West don't know what that experience is. We don't know what black on black is.
You
We know
know,
what a plea.
I don't think, you know what I think we haven't done well enough also is to look back at what was happening before desegregation with the Harlem Renaissance,
Mm.
particularly in that period of time, and the Tulsa, before the Tulsa riots, and how we were thriving as communities all to ourselves and educating
Self
ourselves
independent. Self
and
independent.
promoting our culture
Yeah.
100% promoting our cultures, but at the same time, we were at least coexisting in societies, but had our own strong within our communities. Now we have decimated the idea of that community. All we're
Concept of
doing
that
is trying to
concept.
assimilate
That's it.
100%. And so, like being a founder, being an innovator, coming up with of development ideas. I mean, you stand on the shoulders of like Lewis Howard Lattimore, George Washington Carver, Frederick McKinney Jones, Henry Blair, Benjamin Banneker. We're talking about James West. We're talking about innovators who have come way before us, who have done so much
Hmm.
for
Preach.
technology, so much for
Preach.
our community. But where we're picking it up is everything has to go back to how we could be accepted on a wider market when we should be focusing. I mean, we're gonna get accepted anyway. I don't see anything in Black culture that today is not already mainstream. Like we set the agenda a lot of
You
times.
know, we always deal with whose ice is colder, the black
Yeah,
man's ice, the white man's ice, and it's a constant psychological. Ice has the same temperature, and but when who hands you the ice and who gives you the ice is how you value the ice. And so what we have to do is value yourself. I am the ice. I am the temperature. It comes from us collectively, not me individually, but from my ancestors, from the people that were here before me. I'm a patent holder, right? I understand what intellectual property is in the process of filing patents, which is arduous and expensive and very difficult. And there's very few patent holders in technology today that are black, right? Very few, probably less than ever before do we file patents, right? Because we don't get what patents do generationally. And so what we have to do is kind of bring back intellectualism back into the community and use our brains to help ourselves as a community. And block time is it. That's it. We're an example of proof, not not hype, you know? And I think that's really, why we're in Bermuda, why we're working there to develop actually the locals and provide opportunities for the locals so that they can have a home over here in the States if they're a part of our family, because they're our brothers. and our sisters. And so we want to celebrate the union of this relationship because it bowls into this black unification of what Marcus Garvey was talking about originally, Pan-Africanism. That's what we should be promoting again, bringing back the thought of what is that today and who's
Hmm.
buying into it, and whoever's not, you know, step off. You know what I'm saying? But if
Listen,
you're on
the
board, just
law,
stick with this.
I think that Caribbean people play a very unique role in the center of Western Black
Most,
America and
most
East
definitely,
and Africa,
most
because I
definitely.
think that we
It's a
may have
gateway.
a right, it's a good segment for affinity on both sides, and to be that
Exactly.
bridge so that we can
That's what they
connect
are.
the two, right? And we become
You're
a
right. It's right
collective
there. That's where
diaspora.
it's at.
Well,
Come
100%.
on.
And Marcus Garvey
Come on.
preached on making sure that we were the conduit for our connectivity because it is our culture. When you go to
That's what Jamaica.
Africa, you feel it. Jamaica is exactly stands in the
Exactly.
center of it as well.
Yeah, Jamaica's
Barbados,
baby Africa. Jamaica's baby Africa.
yeah,
Jamaica's baby
it
Africa.
certainly,
You know what I
it
mean? Just
certainly
is. It's
is.
facts.
It certainly
You
is.
know, it
And
is.
so
Just is. It's no. Mm-hmm.
I agree with you 100%. And so I think that if we start looking to how we can create spaces together, how we can change our circumstances together, and utilizing the intelligence that we have on the continent and the vision and intelligence that we have in the West, I think that we would be a nation of persons or a race of persons. And I know people like to suggest, black people and race and this not a specific race, but we are a people,
Right.
African descent,
Come
and
on,
so we
man.
are
We know who we
we
are.
are one nation of people,
Period.
regardless where
Period.
we were born. If
Period.
you if an African blood is running through your veins, then you
You
are of
know it,
African descent, right?
and you know it. You know it.
And you know it, and there's no confusion there. But it
Mm-mm.
is important to really support that, and so you're doing amazing things, and Bermuda being the choice jurisdiction for you, is going to take your company to so many different levels. You're being able to focus on international markets. I must say the Digital Asset Business Act is what is
Mm-hmm.
allowing
Mm-hmm.
companies
Mm-hmm.
like yours to really flourish
Yeah,
into
that's the
new
one.
spaces and new directions, for
Mm-hmm.
international markets that you would never be able to reach, due to some drawbacks in legislation in the United States. So, hats off to the Bermuda Monetary Authority, and hats off to the government in Bermuda, who established this, and hats off to the person who came up with the idea to actually bring blockchain technology to to Bermuda, particularly, which is the former opposition leader Mark Bean. I mean, it is the most important thing that has happened in innovation and Black innovation, um,
Mm-hmm.
to date. And so, how do you see? I want to know what your thoughts are on the future of Black innovation, and where Black people or African descent people can find really their niche in such a developing market. I mean, it's so many different
I
companies.
really think Africa is doing it. I mean,
Mm,
honestly, I really think that the leadership in this space is coming out of Africa. And to your point, I think the Caribbean, and for us, for about this conversation, Pacific Bermuda sits at the catbird of that dashboard on how to bring and go back and forth between Mother Africa and serving the West because of these digital asset laws and legislations that provide the fluidity of digital commerce for us. So I think we are in the right place at the right time. And now it's just a more of a time to evangelize it and go out and proselytize what I call, us as a community on here are the tools to be independent. Here's how you use them. Here's what you do. Here's how you connect your digital to durable. Here's how you monetize your supply chain. Here's how you build tokens. Here's how you pre-fund your tokens, and here's how you build liquidity. You know, for your marketplace. So, so I would say, in closing, Black innovation is about Black excellence. And Black excellence is about depending on our own and learning to love our own and to be caring enough for our own that we're willing to sacrifice. And I say all those that preach it, teach it. You know, if you don't preach it, teach it. And get off your high horse, come down in the streets and teach what you know, so
Amen.
other generations can benefit from it.
Well, Chris, thank you so much. I want to know, where can people find more information about BlokTime? How can they visit your website, and what's to come in the future for BlokTime.io?
Yeah, so the mayor of Wynwood will be coming for the next Art Basel major campaign on the metaverse. You can go to blocktime.io, and that's without the C, BlokTime without the C. And we're also on Instagram and Telegram. So shout outs and thanks for the interview, and be blessed, specifically
Thank you very
Bermuda.
much. Thank you. Thank you so
Okay,
much for joining us. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
So that was our guest, Chris Christmas. And if you want more information about BlokTime, visit www.bloktime.io. That's BLOKTIME.io. And if you want more information about being licensed in a particular jurisdiction, you can visit, like Bermuda, visit the Bermuda Monetary Authority's website, www.ba.bm, and search them out on Google, and you'll find them. You can get more information about getting your innovation set up. But until next time, this is Tech Hour, and I'm your host, Simone Smith Bean. Be great.
My name is on Sarah. On